We know it's summer, it's hot, but officially elsewhere around the country, it is also summer. We've got summer beers for you today on the Brewmance on the radio. Thank you for hanging out with us. This is our, as Russell and Hunter, our pause, our break from all things going on related to all the things in the news where we sit back, crack open a beer each week, tell you all about it, a local beer right here in the beautiful Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Mike, what are we drinking today?
The Shop Beer Co. Now, check this out. Rob asked me, did you go to the shop and get this beer? I said, no. I saw the Total Wine. Yes, good job. We're proud of you. The Shop Beer Co.
That's awesome.
This is crispy. This is we're talking about summer beers, right? This is a blonde lager and a tall boy. You know, it's the trend, though. When I pick the beers for the beer of the week, I bring the tall boys. So if you want your beer to be beer of the week, you want a beer that you're a fan of being a beer of the week, tell the brewery, look up the Brewmance on social media, instant message us, and tell us what beer you would like to have highlighted as beer of the week. Better come in a tall boy. Or a growler.
Yeah, growler's fine too. We can do that. We can split that. It's no big deal.
Right.
We share. Even in the time of COVID, we still share here at the Brewmance. So that's the point. The point is, you got to think about summer. So June 21st, technically the first day of summer, runs all the way till September. But here in the Valley of the Sun, this is really when the heat starts setting in. Because I got up earlier this week. Mike and I were going to roll to the Ben Avery shooting range, not knowing you needed reservations. But we roll up there. We leave the house at like 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh, man, it feels so nice out. 77 degrees. Mm-hmm. But we're about to turn into July where there's no such thing as 70. And there's barely any such thing as 80.
There's the 80s in July.
But barely. It's not until like 4 in the morning. And you don't want to be out at 4 in the morning. So even if you want to go outside at 10 o'clock at night, it's still 95 degrees. So you got to consider your summer beers under that parameter. The fact that it is hot. The fact that, we're spending time outside in the pool or maybe under some misters, but you're not going to be drinking a double IPA most likely while you're out there.
No, that's true. And I saw this headline from Forbes. It said the 8 best summer beers for sipping. Okay? You ready for this? This is the first line. The first line is, by the way, they have hams as one of them. So I'm like, what, hams? Really?
It'll make more sense in just a second.
And I'm not kidding. This is the picture on the front of this thing. It has Smokin' Dagger Black Lager. Ooh. Nothing says sipping by the pool like a black lager. But let's get on this here. Here's the first line. Full disclosure, I am not a beer drinker, and I'm most certainly not an expert. Do you think I read another word of that article? No credibility, zero credibility. You're where the credibility lives, right here in Arizona's only craft beer radio show, the Brewmance on the radio, right here on 550 KFYI, where we have been doing this for 4 years. We have seen darn near every beer that Arizona has pulled out. So you want to talk sipping beers? You want to talk pool beers? Let me tell you something. Arizona knows what summer should taste like because Arizona is the epicenter of heat in the summer.
Yeah, we have an extended summer. We have like a 6-month summer. So if anybody knows summer, we know summer.
We're the pros.
So I would suggest, like this beer here, the Shop Beer Company's Blonde Lager is a perfect example of what you want to sip on in the summer. Because you can sip on this by the pool, whether it's 110, 108, whether it's at night, still 95 degrees out, because it's nice and refreshing.
That's right. Now, like a Huss Light Lager, those are fantastic. Like the lighter beers, especially the lighter craft beers, is great. Now, Rob and I differ in this because I can take a heavier beer by the pool. I have no problems with that at all. You go with a double IPA, that's fine with me. I can hit that by the pool. Any of the Pilsner line, bring it. The Valley Venom at Helton. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you can pound that all day by the pool. I could even go I have done this, but I've had these metal cups, and I've had some whiskey at the pool. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't need, for me, it doesn't like the fresh, crisp, light. That's not really what I'm looking for. Like a Founders All Day IPA. If I'm going to have a beer, I want it to be good. I don't care where I'm at. It could be by the pool. It could be by a fireplace. Same to me.
All right, let's bring up a question here because in the time of COVID-19, things have obviously changed. I myself have been staying home a lot more than I used to. I used to go out all the time. I'd probably go out to eat 3 nights a week, maybe get takeout another night. Just didn't like to cook at home.
Yeah.
So now we've been cooking a lot more at home because for various reasons.
Who's the better cook? You or Lady Brewmance? All right.
Lady Brewmance by far. The point is, because of that, I think I'm drinking less. So what I'm trying to figure out is, I don't know what my exact balance is, but what I'm doing is I'm taking more care per beer. Like I choose more specifically because I'm what I mean by drinking less is I'm having 1 or 2 beers at a time instead of 3 or 4, sometimes 5 in a sitting. So because of that, I feel satisfied after 2. So I'm picking my beers a little bit differently than I have in the past. So, for example, this would be a beer, this blonde lager, or this blonde lager from the shop in Tempe, that I would drink 3 or 4 of them at a pool. So that would be a different setting. This probably, we'll get a full review for you coming up a little bit later. If it's nighttime, I'm chilling in the AC, I'm going to want something beefier because I'm probably only going to have 1, maybe the second beer. So I'm going to go for a Tower Station or a Northeast IPA from Pelton, something of that nature, knowing that I'm not going to go 6 deep on IPAs right now.
Listen, I'm not kidding. I know it's going to sound funny. I've envied the people that just like, I'm going to crack open a bomber of this. I've had it in the fridge for a while, and that's what I'm going to drink tonight. How do you do that? Like, I went, okay, where's the next one? Where's the next one? And I've switched to spirits in a lot of my evening drinks, a nightcap kind of thing. Because listen, I was drinking a good amount of beer every evening. Well, even afternoon when we were on lockdown. I mean, it was it was like living in a casino. There's always booze around.
Right. You don't know what time it is. You don't know what day it is.
And so I started to cut down on how much beer I was drinking. I need to slim down. I started getting a little, little chunky.
That's part of it too.
That's right. No more chubby daddy. So I switched to just having a nightcap, and that has changed my drinking pattern. So I think more so going to the quality over quantity is not about taste as much as it is just changing your pattern of, oh, I have a really nice drink before bed, and that is maybe a beer. And if it's a beer, it's going to be a really nice beer, to your point. Right?
Yeah, and that's all I'm looking for. So that's where the flavorful part will come in for me, that I'll be looking for a ton of flavor. So I think getting back to that point, it's all about the situational drinking. And I think that's how I look at the beer categories now.
Okay.
Because I very rarely, when I'm sitting around my house, want a Pilsner or a lager. But if I'm out, I'm like, yeah, a lager, I'm good. On a patio or something like that, by a pool, something of that nature, or to try the beers. But one of my favorite things still to do to this day, and every time I travel, which I've been so deprived, I feel like a lost child, not able to go anywhere.
Because that's your thing, man. You are the traveler.
Well, that's what I've stayed in my house for what? The last time I went to Sedona, like right before everything shut down. So it must have been the second weekend of March or the first weekend of March. So that was probably the 6th or 7th. We were in Sedona, and maybe it was the 13th. I can't remember, but I haven't been anywhere outside of the valley since then. So I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But one of my favorite things to do is when I do travel is find breweries and have flights of beer, because I like to try all the beers. So I'll go wherever it ends up we go, Amy and I, whether we go to Chicago or San Diego or San Francisco or Tokyo, Japan, we find local craft beer.
San Diego or Japan.
Right. We make a 6-hour drive or 11-hour flight, whatever. But that's what I'd like to do. So lagers and darker beers are something I traditionally try on my craft brewery trips.
Okay. And I'm not a flight fan. I'm not, because I have I know it sounds funny. It sounds like a flight would be exactly what a guy like me needs. But I have commitment issues. So if I see something like it just says, I look at the IBUs, I look at the ABV, and then I go from there.
International bitterness units is IBU.
So if I get 6 beers, I'm like, now I'm shorting myself, because I'm going to find 1 or 2 that I really like, and I've only got like 6 ounces, but I'm going to finish this flight because I don't waste beer, and I'm going to be a little buzzed up right now. So I just pick one.
See, I like to kind of see what a brewery's roster is like from top to bottom. So I like to get a depth of the lineup, if you will, because I'm like looking at it like a coach. I'm like, okay, maybe you have a really strong IPA, so you have your cleanup hitter.
Okay.
So I'd put IPA in the cleanup spot. And then I'm like, well, you might need to lead off with a nice Pilsner, a nice lager. I need to see what your on-base percentage is. How good is your lager?
I like talking sex.
Yeah, I'm trying to construct a World Series winning team without banging trash cans like the Houston Astros.
Nice, thank you. You're just being so kind to me today, bringing a baseball in, those scummy cheaters. So, but judging by, let's say, like a barbecue joint for me, I never put barbecue sauce on anything, and I want to order some of that barbecue. I want to taste how good you are at barbecue. So just the basic IPA is where I judge. Seafood, I know since a kid, I judge a restaurant by their fish and chips. It sounds funny. I'm a grown-ass man, and I still go for the fish and chips.
I do that with Italian restaurants. It's chicken parm. How good is your chicken parm? So you can't make the chicken parm. You probably can't make anything else. It's a standard solid dish.
Yeah. That's the basics. That is the basics, man. Come on.
Exactly. What are we talking about next, Mike?
I don't know. What are we talking about? What do you want to talk about? How about this? How about a cooler that can help us out in the time of COVID? A cooler. Yes. Brought to you by our pals at Dos Equis.
So stick around for that. It's the Brewmance on the radio. Also, we will review the Shop Beer Company's Crispy a little bit later on the show, right here on 550 KFYI.
If you can't eyeball 6 feet by now, or at least walk it off, don't worry. Dos Equis has it covered. That in a moment. This is Brewmance on the radio. Thank you for being here. He is Rob Hunter. I'm Mike Russell. Each and every week, we grab the local style beer. Very excited to see this in Total Wine. The Shop Beer Co.'s Crispy Blonde Lager. We're going to get to that in just moments, let you know what we think of it. But Dos Equis has Dos Equis, excuse me, to our friends from the South. Yeah, just say it right if you say it. I mean, it's a Spanish name. Has come out with a 6-foot-long cooler so you can drink Dos Equis or your favorite kind of beer 6 feet apart. So there's no guessing. You're social distancing. Thank you for the 6-foot cooler. Canyon coolers, where you at? Where you at with my 6-foot Canyon cooler? That would be a pain in the rear to take anywhere.
It would be, but it would be awesome because how much beer could you put in a 6-foot Canyon cooler? Like, think about that. Wow. Now, the Canyon cooler, what Mike's talking about, is this amazing piece of equipment made right here in Arizona.
That's right. Roto-molded cooler.
So what that means, it's like insulated. So you put ice in it, you take on a camping trip, the ice is going to last you the entire weekend. Yes. It's amazing. So the beers stay cold. Yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. A 6-foot. I'm glad Dos Equis is doing it, but I just want to put more beers in it, not because I need to be necessarily 6 feet apart from people.
Excuse me. It's called the 6-foot cooler. It says it right there. The 6-foot cooler. That's right. The 6-foot cooler. And look, I just think if you're going to capitalize on what's going on, because you understand that the strong common sense thinking Americans know that, okay, there is a time where we're just going to have to face this thing head on, and we're going to have to move back to the way we do things. And if you're going to capitalize on, get a make some money on it, and get some good advertising, get some good radio mentions like they're getting right now here on Arizona's only beer radio show. Yep. Go for it. I applaud you for doing it. Absolutely applaud you for doing it.
But that brings up an important question, because I've seen numerous things over the past couple of days, Mike, about this distancing thing. One was from a website called Vox.com. Mm-hmm. And they said the bars are going to change forever because of, the lack of social distancing in bars. At least that's their thought, at least for now. So that's like, okay, great. But now you have other states, Florida and Texas being amongst them, that are closing down bars again because people are congregating them. And this is what we do as older folks. So we're both in our 40s. We're already at the point where, like, those youngsters hanging out in those bars are causing the COVID to be spread. So, like, shut them down, because old people don't hang out in bars. The hell with you, young kids.
And I remember when this place where that bar is was just an empty lot.
When it snowed and I had to walk through it both ways to school.
Yes.
But that seems like what we're doing here. And I don't – look, we don't have to debate whether it's the right approach or wrong approach. If you want to hear that, at least our takes on it, you can listen to Russell and Hunter 4 to 7 right here on 550 KFY, every from out of town, down the iHeartRadio app, and check it out. But what makes me nervous is bars and breweries are amongst my favorite places to hang out, not because they make amazing beer. That's part of it. But it's a place to congregate with your friends. So sometimes, like in the Valley, Mike and I live about 30 miles apart. Mm-hmm. So it's not always convenient to go hang out at each other's houses. There's just time, and Mike's got the family things going on, and Abe and I are doing things. But it makes more sense, like after work, hey, let's stop off on the way home, grab a pint, and hang out. We see each other all the time. We're doing work, but we don't get the friend time that we used to, because we're not going to those places as much anymore. So having them change, if you're in the Valley, like Mike lives on the west side, I'm North Phoenix. We have some friends out in the East Valley. Well, we could feasibly meet in Phoenix in the middle at a brewery or a bar. But if they're going to be different for the foreseeable future, where do you congregate with people? so you don't have to drive 50 miles sometimes.
I'm okay with the middle ground here when it comes to the Bears. I am a good with the middle ground because if I can show up to a place with you, Rob, and a couple buddies, so there's 4 of us. As long as we don't have to social distance 6 feet from each other and we don't have barriers between each other, we just hang out like normal human beings. But then everyone else is distanced 6 feet from our group. Their group, our group, 6 feet apart. I'm cool with that. That's fine because you still have the atmosphere because that's a big thing. We went to breakfast earlier this week. I'm sorry, yesterday, and we went to breakfast, and there was at one time we're the only people in it. I think there's one more person in there. And we looked around, and we're like, man, this is depressing. Like, what if it was always like this? And I'd cook at home because I come to a place for atmosphere. I want people around. I want a buzz. I want an atmosphere, not that kind of buzz, but I want a buzz in the air. I want that kind of people talking, is that white noise and maybe music playing, and that's what you go out for.
Sure. Well, you think about the drop off too. Not only that, because the atmosphere is completely different. That's a lot of the reason why I'm staying home, and I want to support small businesses and local businesses. I mean, we know many brewery owners, bar owners, but when I go out and it feels awkward and weird, I'm less likely to do it because I'm like, I don't like this feeling. It feels forced because not everybody's ready to go out yet. So it's this weird, awkward middle position that I don't want to continue forever. I understand the reasons for it, even if I don't agree with them. But when you go out and you're sitting in there, there's 4 tables, you're like, you're kind of on edge a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've been like that since March. Like, we closed down and we reopened, we went back out, and I was like, this is weird.
Look, I promise I'm not ripping on the D-backs. Everyone knows I'm a Dodgers fan. I'm not ripping on the D-backs by any stretch. But I'm being serious. One of the times I took a friend of mine to a game here at Bob. I'm still going to call it Bob. Forget you, Chase Field.
Bob forever.
Bob, that's right. And I was like, hey, what do you think of this place? And he looks around, he goes, it's cool, but it's kind of nondescript. So, based on warehouse. And that's he was right, but that's the same feeling I get in these restaurants that are social distance. It's just, there's too much open space and it just feels odd. It feels weird. It's not, we're not used to eating and having a dining experience like that. And I don't like the new dining experience.
Every day feels like if you go out on a Monday. When you go out on a Monday, there's way less of a crowd.
Right.
So I went to Salt Lake City 2 weekends ago, and our buddy Justin and I went up there for a conference, and we went to a restaurant. They had just opened that restaurant 2 days prior to us being there. And they have a setup where they have tables downstairs, and they have kind of like the upstairs is a bar, and there's a little room off to the side, and there's like a bar stool in the corner, like a bar table. Mm-hmm. There was 3 of us in that section. So Justin and I sat at one end of the bar. There was 2 people at the bar top table, not even at the bar. It was away from and there was 2 other people in the actual room because they were being very strict about their social distancing policies. But that led to an hour and a half wait for probably what would normally be a regular Friday night.
Sure.
But because they only put, 15 people in the restaurant at one time, it led to this wait. Luckily, Justin smooth talked them, and we were able to get in and get the bar spot. But it felt good in a sense to be in there, but at the same time, it felt weird because of the lack of people. It was like a ghost town.
Right, exactly. And you guys had a mad steak, it seemed like.
It was a very tasty steak.
Yeah. Okay, well, at least
West Distillery.
Oh, that was at the distillery.
The actual distillery.
Oh, yeah, those are some good people. They make Western Standard beer as well, which is a fantastic beer. We are talking a little earlier about like summer beers and stuff. Not a summer beer.
Not a summer
beer. This is a campfire beer. This is an ultimate campfire beer. Western Standard. Try it out. Highly recommend. Finished in whiskey barrels. So good. Let me tell you something. Sweet and all of that stuff. But going back to it, like I keep thinking about my favorite spot out in the West Valley, which is Saddle Mountain. And they have been doing really well because West Valley needs that. And they've been serving the West Valley, and they've been doing a great job doing it. It's still just a different environment. I mean, it feels kind of the same, but it's like, hey, how about I find an excuse to kind of hang out on the patio? Because now I'm patio seating, so everyone's kind of spread apart and we're outside. You're kind of forcing it to feel like it used to, and it's still weird. And if our governor is going to do anything of like Texas and Florida, I better get over to that event this weekend.
Well, and that's it. You don't know. And I think that's part of the problem, though, because of all of the uncertainty. in that we don't know if they're going to shut down the bars and restaurants again or slow them down or limit capacity. Like Utah was a law. You can only have 25% capacity. Several other states have done the same thing. So if Arizona goes back there, there's already some trepidation about going out. What will that then do to the industry? Look, there's no denying it. We're seeing an increase in cases. I mean, that's just a fact. It's just how we choose to respond to that that's different. But you can see it's already having an effect.
Right. And what's the effect that's going to happen after that? Because they've already shut down once. What are they going to change next? Yeah. And are they going to change? Because are they going to be able to sustain their livelihood if we have another shutdown again? Look, if you're going to make this the new normal, stamp it and make it the dang new normal, and then that's the way it's going to be moving forward. Fine, social distancing, great. Don't shut it down again, and then they never come back. I can't handle it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about life without breweries in the West Valley.
No kidding, because it's depressing.
I know.
And it's become such a staple of what we do and where we hang out and where we have these interesting conversations. Just to imagine them being reduced or harder to find or with different hours or only so many people around there, it's just awkward. And quite frankly, we don't like it.
Yeah, we don't like it.
But we still have the Brewmance on the radio. We're drinking a local beer. The Shop Beer Company's Crispy. We'll review that for you in a little bit. In a moment, how much beer is being wasted? Way too much. Stay there. It's 550 KFYI. Lots and lots of beer is going down the drain during times of COVID-19. We mean that literally. It is the Brewmance on the radio. His name is Mike Russell. My name is Rob Humphrey. It is our worst nightmare. What we do is get together. We crack on a beer and we have interesting conversations because beer, particularly craft beer, made right here in the great state of Arizona, is a great conversation piece. We just hope that not all of it is dumped down the drain. We're talking thousands and thousands of kegs.
Yes.
Down the drain. Thousands and thousands of kegs all across this country, from big brewers to small brewers and everything in between, because not as many people are buying beer during the time of lockdown, of uncertainty.
Okay, breweries, come to me. Just come to me. We will take out newspaper, they don't have newspaper ads, come on, let's be real, online ads for you, and we'll advertise on this very show. If you are suffering this problem, and you have, and I'm being dead serious, we will advertise to our people. They are selling kegs at this discount at this place, this discount at this place, this discount. We will advertise it on social media. We'll advertise it on this show. If you have beer that is going stale and needs to get drank, do not pour it down the drain. Let us help you. Let our people, our listeners help you. And do it for the world.
Yes, please. It's a PSA, public service announcement.
Yeah.
Cheers at Brewmance.beer is one way to get a hold of us. Brewmance.beer is our website. On Instagram at _Brewmance. On Facebook, you can go facebook.com/The Brewmance. So there's multiple ways you can reach out to us if that is a problem. Because
yes.
We do not want to see good beer go to waste. And I think Four Peaks was pretty good about that. They were selling kegs for like $40.
Exactly.
Which is phenomenal. Because, look, it's better than that dumping out the drain. In fact, there was breweries in Massachusetts that were told by the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority to not urge or to not dump their beers down the drain.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to go in the water supply system. So there's bars.
Why wouldn't you? Best water ever. Brushing your teeth with a little IPA.
Ooh. Forget fluoride. Give me some hops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Archaic thing with that fluoride. I mean, come on.
Why are my teeth? Oh, wait. Why do I feel this way when I'm brushing my teeth?
Absolutely love that, by the way. Yes. So, but here's what you can do. You just get a cheap used kegerator, and you can have a social distance party in your front yard. And everybody's sitting around, 6 feet apart, and everybody just kill that keg like that.
Yeah.
Everybody, your neighbors kick in $5 a piece. You're doing this for free. And everybody's, yes. This is a fantastic idea. So breweries, do not do this, please. And I'm being sincere when I say this. We didn't plan this in show prep. This is just off the cuff, and I'm being sincere. And Rob's come with me. I know he will come with me on this. So I've known him long enough to speak for him in this regard. We will help in any way we can get the word out so people are buying your kegs instead of throwing them away. It's great advertising. It gets you some revenue. You're not wasting anything. And then you get to, they'll come back with the kegs, maybe get another one to see what we got going, build some customers, some advertising. We got you. Come on, let the Brewmance out.
And I think another option, too, is on top of that, is do exactly like the Shop did. The Shop Beer Company has put their Crispy in a can. So we're excited. Every time we see a brewery put their beers in cans and we can go buy them in the store, we get excited for them.
Amen.
So we've seen a kind of an increase in that. I know you need distribution deals and you know all that, but there's other ways that you can go about this, too, to get your beers in cans. So I would encourage you to, if you haven't got to that point yet, try to figure out a way where I'm like, all right, in cannabis. Like our friends at Mobile West Canning.
Yes.
That's at least one option for you guys that doesn't have a ton of upside. It doesn't cost you a ton of money. They do it pretty affordably. But that will help at least get some of that beer in other people's hands. I was like, for example, there's a brewery out in Gilbert. Hello. But I very rarely go to Gilbert. And there's breweries I want to try, but I'm like, man, that's 60 miles from my house. I'm like, oh, man, I'd have to get a camper and sleep overnight. I'm going to go out there. But if, like, say, Desert Monks Brewery was able to get their beers in Total Wine or the Craft Beer Hop Shop or something like that, where I could go get it, I'd be much more likely to try the beer. And that's obviously one of the challenges with craft beer. Oftentimes it is very local. It's meant to serve neighborhoods. But sometimes it's so good, I just wanted to get outside the neighborhood.
But let's talk about the canning. When the day that they opened, the day that they reopened the bars and the restaurants here in Arizona, we went to State 48 after the show. And we had a couple of beers there. And we noticed that they were canning their beers. We didn't even know they were canning their beer during the shutdown. And what did we do? We grabbed a 6-pack apiece, and it gave more revenue. The cans were a good thing we could just take with us. Yes, better than growlers in my mind. Because it's got your art. It's got all that in there. You're not sharing it with your neighbor like, what is this? Oh, it's from State 48. Oh, I haven't heard them. Where are they at? But instead of, boom, there it is. It's right on the can. Here, have a can.
Yeah, but I think that may be the business model going forward because, of course, everybody's going to have to innovate a little bit. Because innovation is the key to survival, and it may not be long-term, but who's to determine what it is? Because I'm going to guess what's going to happen as several states, Florida and Texas, are back to retreating and going back inside and closing certain things. This is a virus, and it's one that I don't believe, I haven't seen any evidence of this, and I've looked and I've researched it, that we can't run and hide from. We can't duck and run. We can't cover from. We tried that. It didn't work. So no matter what we do, until there's a vaccine that actually works, which may be years away, is to let the virus run its course. And I'm not trying to be callous, but there's a certain level of arrogance, I think, that we've assumed amongst ourselves that we can just, we can run away from a virus. I'm like, we've never been able to do that. And I don't think that we can do that now. And again, I'm not saying this isn't potentially dangerous because it certainly carries a significant risk factor for a certain part of the population, but also we've never reacted like this despite significant risks of viruses in the past. So running and hiding from it is only going to slow it down until we are ready to go back out again, and then it's going to spike again.
Okay, but I've tried this, Rob. I tried to run and hide from seltzers for a long time. And I just had to one day man up and just say, you know what? They're here. They're not going anywhere. I'm going to have to face this head on, and I'm just going to have to go about my life and realize that seltzers are going to be surrounding me at all time, and I'm just going to have to deal with it.
You've accepted that
reality? I have. And it might run its course. I still believe it'll run its course, but until that time, I'm just going to face the facts and just take it on head on.
Yeah.
And drink my good beer. No. Are you going to go kiss someone with COVID? No. You don't want to get COVID. No. I don't want to get the seltzer either.
But if my wife got it, I would be like, all right, not going to kiss you for 14 days. Ha ha. Of course, I wouldn't know for 4 days until the symptoms showed up anyway.
Yes,
so like,
exactly. But I'll know immediately if I'm drinking a damn seltzer. I'll tell you that much. I did see my daughter brought this to me because Intern Beans is hilarious. She brought this to me and said, drinking truly is like drinking TV static while someone yells a fruit flavor from the other room.
Interesting. Watching TV.
It's like drinking TV static while someone yells a fruit name from the other room.
How does her mind work? That's fascinating.
Yeah, my daughter's hilarious.
She might have a future in stand-up comedy with a mind like that.
Yeah, oh, great. Yeah, get into entertainment, honey. It's
very lucrative.
Don't do that. Last call has U.S. beer shipments declining by 1 million barrels in May. And here's why I see that. I see that as it was up. We were talking about beer sales up, alcohol sales up during lockdown. After lockdown went,
COVID-19 weight.
We drank a little bit during that lockdown, and you know what? We're going to go ahead and pump the brakes a little bit. You know, we're going to go ahead and start just drinking coffee, some water, stay hydrated and the like. I think that's what it is. I don't think that, of course, because they want a salacious headline, I don't think it's going. I don't think the beer industry is going anywhere because, once again, even in times like this, this is the I would say the weirdest time in our nation's history. Like, we've been through war. War isn't weird. We all understand war. We get war. We understand what that's all about. We understand terrorist attacks. We know what that's all about. We understand it. You can get your head around it. What's going on right now, no one can get their head around. But the nation will, like it always has, it will rebound. It will grow. It will become better. It will become stronger like it has through every big event like this. And beer will be right there walking lockstep with it like it has through the dawn since the dawn of our nation.
Well, I also think if you add to that, because I think you're right, if you add to the fact that, okay, so we had this sort of period where, oh, all right, it's going to be a couple of months, no big deal. But yeah, then you're right. Then the weight started to pack on. And like, whoa, man, I went through a lot of beers. I looked at my recycle bin and I was like, it's filled with beer. So yeah, maybe it's just a pause because now we're like either going back out, say we're buying pints at breweries, and now maybe since we're going to be shuttered in again is what it looks like, or at least most of us are going to stay that way. Maybe beer sales will go back up because we're in that sort of mid ground again where it's like, okay, think about what you're doing. Bring your beer home.
And maybe it's become a quality over quantity thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I hope that sends certain beers out of the market.
Like seltzers?
Yes.
Not that they're beers, but what you're saying
but they keep lumping them in the beer category. I think that's why I'm so offended.
It surprises me how expensive they are because you get a 12-pack, they're like $17.99. I'm like, man, I got $50.
Sister Brewmance, I think we should stop calling her that because she drinks Mick Ultra.
True.
So, but I went to get her some Mick Ultra. It's over $1 a bottle. I'm like, I don't understand that. I have tap water.
I'm buying you
can
craft
drink
beer.
there.
Exactly. Buy craft instead.
Yes.
In a moment, we will review Crispy from the Shop Beer Company. I'm sure they appreciate me singing the title of the beer. That's up next to the Brewmance on the radio right here on 550 KFYI.
In the time of COVID-19, it is adapt and evolve or die. Welcome to Brewmance on the radio. He's Rob Hunter. I'm Mike Russell. Each and every week, we celebrate a local beer as our beer of the week. And this week is the Shop Beer Co.'s Crispy Blind Lager. Now, Arizona is notorious for its beer week and as well as its craft beer week, as well as its restaurant week. And restaurant week, Rob, has a new evolution. It's realizing that the restaurants were the hardest hit industry in COVID, in the whole COVID-19 thing. The basically the service industry was the hardest hit, restaurants being the epicenter of that. So how are they going to evolve Restaurant Week, which is a pretty damn big deal here?
It is, and especially for they always give you a good chance to go to a restaurant perhaps that might have been out of your price range or you wanted to try and you weren't sure. So that was a great entry place in. So this year, obviously, they're doing it more to offer takeout options, which really wasn't a thing with Restaurant Week. You weren't able to take the special offers for $33 because they were able to give you those offers because they thought you'd come in and maybe buy a drink or two to help boost up that profit margin because they're giving you this amazing food at such a low cost.
Right.
So they're going to try it this year. And quite frankly, it's smart because they have to adapt.
They do.
Because not many people are going out to eat. It's evidenced by the fact that I've gone out the last couple of weeks and I'm like, whoa. It's like a ghost town out here. Yeah,
Rob was actually keeping the restaurant industry afloat for many years. As he said, he ate out. What did you say a couple minutes ago? You ate about 3 times a week? What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And sometimes small joints near the house. Like there's a pho place near my house that I love. And you go out, it's like $25 and you get some egg rolls with that.
Also a ding, too. So
that's true.
Yes.
Well, I'm not anymore.
Dual income, no kids. That's what a ding is.
Amy is in the process of starting her own company, so therefore
he's a sink.
Yes, I'm a sink.
Single income, no kids.
By the way, if you need some team consulting, please let us know.
There you go.
Let us know. Painted Porch Strategies is my wife's company. I also offer a communication course.
Free 4-pack of beer with every 1-year contract.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, also, I should just say, why not? I was up in the plug alert, plugging my wife's company that I'm working on. I'm in a movie, Mike Russell.
That's right. Rob Hunter is going to have an IMDb page.
Yeah, it's on there. I got to get a picture to my buddy Barry and his buddy Steve. So my buddy Murph from Los Angeles was going to direct a movie. It's like he's always wanted to direct a movie. And his buddy Stephen Wright wrote this screenplay.
Stephen Wright?
Not that Steve.
Oh, okay.
Different Steve. So this guy wrote it's called Alan the Dog. And Barry read this. He was like, yes, this is it. It's kind of like Ted. You remember Ted?
Yep.
This is a puppet dog who is the main star of the movie. He's a stand-up comedian, stand-up dog eating. I don't know. So I play news anchor Brett Feldman.
Nice.
Yes. Now
Very
on video
good.
On demand, Amazon, YouTube.
Check it out.
Yeah, just feeling good.
And what's it called?
It's called Alan the Dog.
Alan the Dog. And I said Fozzie. Fozzie was the bear. I was talking about Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph, Fozzie. But yeah. But here's what about movies. And just to talk about just for a second, because I'm just thrilled that I was able to have a part in it. Because I know how hard Barry worked on this movie. Hours and hours, like 2 years plus of his life, basically dedicated to this project. To see it finally come to fruition, I'm so happy for him and Steve to be able to put their piece of art
to Barry and Steve.
There. What is it? And that's why they invented beer, so we can keep going in the face of all the adversity to keep making sure our projects get done. I mean, I know sometimes beer sidetracks us, but man, 2 years working on a project, and finally there it is on the video on demand screen. That's a pretty cool one.
And the fact that our very own Rob,
yeah,
we knew him when. That's right. Yeah. Our very own Rob, when he's up there accepting his Oscar for the portrayal of Brett Feldman.
Doggone news.
Doggone. What's the premise of the movie, please?
The premise of the movie is that Alan the dog and his dog owner, they're best friends.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he hires a dog walker for Alan, and they both fall for the dog walker, Ellie.
Oh.
Or Elle. So, Elle's cute.
Okay.
And
yeah.
He falls for her, and the dog falls for her, and they have all these shenanigans, and they go through this adventure.
Is Elle showing any interest in the dog?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. Okay. But Alan's holding out hope.
He's okay.
And she has a dog, so she tries to pair up Alan with her dog. It gets kind of interesting.
Okay. I'm going to watch it. You know I am. I just know it's got some nutties in it, so I'm not going to watch it when the kids are around. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out.
I just want to get for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's where I want to fast forward to. Our buddy Cooper was in Deadpool 2. That's right. Mm-hmm. He was an anchor as well, with the TV anchor, just his voice in the background. Rob's pretty mug is on camera.
No residuals for me either. Cooper's probably going to get checked for that forever.
What do you mean no residuals? Barry can kick you like a 4-pack or something nice?
Like he's giving me plenty of whiskey.
I'm kidding. Barry. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. That is fantastic. Proud of you. Good job, man.
But the cool part is, too, and I hope it does well because it is video on demand, because nobody's going to the theaters yet. They even delayed the new John David Washington movie, Tenet, Denzel's son, directed by Christopher Nolan. Guy directed those Batman movies.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So they delayed that because that was going to be the big launch next month, but they're not sure people really want to go to the movies yet.
Number 1 and number 2 movie at the box offices last weekend? Jurassic Park and Jaws.
The original Jurassic.
The originals, yeah, absolutely.
Spielberg version.
Spielberg's crushing it. Can you imagine how good is it to be Steven Spielberg? They closed down all the movies. Then when they reopened the movie theaters, they only showed my movies, and I'm number 1 and 2 again.
Awesome.
That's fabulous.
You'd go to movies right now, though, wouldn't you?
Absolutely go to movies.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm in.
I don't know that I want to go see Jurassic Park again in the theater. I remember seeing it as a kid, and I was like, I mean, I love the movie, but I'm not sure that would draw me to the theater. Now, Tenet, the movie, because Christopher Nolan's mind is fascinating. It's like some kind of time warp, time travel kind of movie. I probably would go see that in the theater, but now I got to.
What's that movie that DiCaprio did? Yeah.
Very similar. I think it's a similar type of mind warping movie. You're like, what is going on here?
Put it at the drive-in. I'll go see it. Yes. I don't care what movie it is. I need to go to a drive-in theater. We have one here in the Valley. I want to go again. I dig going to the drive-in movies.
I've been meaning to go. I haven't been to a drive-in in my entire life. 42 years, no drive-in.
All right, we're going to give it a few weeks. A little cool down, maybe. Yeah. By that, I mean a few months, and then we'll go.
Yeah, because otherwise you have to sit there and turn your AC on full blast.
No, we'll be sitting in the back of the truck, man. And lawn chairs. We'll have a little fan on us.
Nice.
Have lots of beer.
All right. I'm down.
Thank you.
Lady Brewmance for driving, just letting you know.
Absolutely. I'm not driving.
Yep.
But then we got to drive my truck, though, so I don't know.
I'll
figure it out. Let's talk about this beer, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
That's right.
It is. Shop.
Yeah, the shop beer.
Tempe, Arizona. They got a cool little spot. And they got accolades recently. They were even on the Today Show because they had closed down the shop because one of their employees had COVID. So they said, we'll close it down till we figure out what to do. Brian Helton Brewing did the same thing. And a couple of other restaurants have as well. They didn't want to take any chances. And we talked about way back at the very beginning. He said, look, my responsibility for the public, people that come in and drink my beer. I just want to keep you safe. So the shop did the same thing, and people really dug on that. So this is a 5.5% ABV beer that has 10 international bitterness units, Mike Russell. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I do like it. When I was talking earlier about it being a poolish kind of beer, to me, this sits right on the line of it's crisp and clean and it feels like a pool beer, but it has that perfect weight to it. I guess I'll say that instead of heaviness, that weight to it that you're drinking craft beer. You're drinking something that's good, something that you're not just going to take straight to the head. I don't like crushable. Like people, it's crushable and all. I want to take my time with this, and I like the fact that I'm going to take my time with this. And being a lager, this is an 8.5. So easy for me because I can't describe how they hit that line of weight, like that perfect weight that you can still drink in the pool, but you can drink it anywhere else. It's not just this is a good summer beer. It's a good anytime beer.
I would agree with that. These are the kind of beers that can be gateways for non-craft beer drinkers. And I'm so glad that craft beer drinkers or craft beer makers are making their own Pilsners and their own lagers, this one being a lager, like Mike said, because you can go to your friends who say, I only drink Bud and Coors, or like, try this. Try this lager and see if you like it, because it is heavier, but not like in an obnoxious way. But it tastes like a beer. It tastes like a nice, full-flavored beer. So you gave it an 8.5. I'll match your 8.5 because there's really not much wrong with it. I mean, I struggled to maintain this throughout the show because I didn't finish it halfway through, but because of integrity and because it's a tall boy. And because
the boss is here and he took our third.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he liked it too.
I gave the boss the third.
Okay, good for you.
That's right. See,
so the Brewmance lives another week.
in these times, you do what you do, right? Yep. You do what you can do to keep the doors open, keep the show going, so to speak. I'm thrilled with this beer. I'm glad I found it. I found it at a shop too. I'm glad I found it at the shop. I'm glad I found it at a store. So it means that they're starting to grow and doing good things. So good for you, shop.
Beer suggestions for us, reach out to us on our website, brewmance.beer, facebook.com/Brewmance, on Instagram at _Brewmance. All easy ways to get hold of us. We'd love to know what you are drinking as well. And if you are a brewery, working a brewery, you want us to try your beer of the week,
or you want us to record this show at your spot, we can do that too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just absolutely let us know. Just reach out to us. Email address cheers@brewmance.beer as well. His name is Mike Russell. My name is Rob Hunter. You can also catch us as Russell and Hunter 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 4 to 7, right here on 550 KFY. And, we got a Brewmance podcast. You can check it out on the iHeartRadio app as well. Please do that. Until next week, Saturday night, 6 p.m. We'll do it all over again.
Cheers, everybody.